Hey, this is Alex.
Hi, Mark.
And thanks, Mark. Nice, man. Nice intro. And we're with Duck Cinema. Today is February 4th. We just finished filming or recording before sunrise. Anyways, this is another session. Today's special because we are doing our top 10 of the year. Technically last year, 2016. So
yes,
yeah, we're a little bit late, but that's okay. We do this every year. So
yes.
Mark has his top 10, and I have my top 10. We only talked just a little bit about it, the film.
And we're totally unprepared.
But and again, these are not the top rated film of the year. It's not something that like critically acclaimed or anything like that.
These are our
personal favorites of the year, and things that maybe touch our
hearts,
whatever,
and our faces.
Okay, man. All right, man. That's cool. Mark, you go 1, I'll go 1, and then we'll go back and forth.
Starting from number 10.
Okay, starting from number 10 then.
Yeah.
All right, you go first.
Well, okay. First, I just want to say that there's a handful of movies.
What movies have you seen?
I have not seen, but I'm sure they would have made my top 10 list.
Maybe.
Possibly, but I feel like my list is a little disappointing this year.
What?
There are some really good movies this year, but I feel like my tail end of the list wasn't quite up to my standards, like compared to previous years.
Yeah, okay.
So some movies I haven't seen.
Okay, go for it.
Moana.
I've seen that.
I feel like that would have been in my top 10.
Nope. Go ahead.
Handmaiden by Chan Woo Park.
Nope, I haven't seen that one either.
I feel like that would have been in my top 10.
Man, I don't know.
One of I guess our idols.
Yeah, okay.
David Chan of Slash Filmcast.
Okay.
That was his number 1.
Shout out to David Chan Slash Filmcast. What is it?
Slash
Film. Sorry.
Yeah. What else? Your Name, a Japanese animation.
Yes, that I think would be one of my favorites.
And that was actually one of our other idols, Chris Stuckman.
Yeah. Damn, we should have seen that one.
But yeah, I guess we didn't have the chance to go watch it in theaters.
Yeah.
What else was there? I don't know. This is kind of a maybe, but maybe Doctor Strange would have made it.
I think if you like Civil War more, you probably would. Civil War, I personally believe, is a better film.
Okay. I feel like I should have watched Moonlight.
Yes. I haven't seen it.
Which is totally dramatic. And I also feel like I should have seen Manchester by the Sea.
I don't think you're missing much. That one, again, this is a personal favorite, not like a critic favorite.
If there's so much critical consensus and acclaim for these two super dramatic films, then I feel like there has to be something there.
No, I don't think so, man.
But yeah, I mean, just so saying that, I feel like my first couple might be a little. They would be runners up, but because I haven't seen too many movies, they're actually in my top 10. Okay,
fair. I mean, I saw your list earlier, and pretty solid list. I don't.
Because we have a lot of the same movies.
Yeah, probably. Okay, go for it.
Anyways.
And even if we're talking about the same movie, we can talk just a little bit more and then...
Yeah.
Okay, starting number 10. Mark, go first, and then me, and then go back and forth.
Okay. So number 10 on my list is Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Okay, and why do you like that film?
Okay, so I just want to say that I was a little bit disappointed by it.
Okay.
Going into it, a lot of my friends and a lot of the internet were praising it. Mm-hmm. Saying it was like the best Star Wars ever because it was different. It was a war movie. It had a different tone. But when I watched it, I mean, yeah, it is true. Like, it does have a different feel from all the other Star Wars movies. Mm-hmm. But I felt like there wasn't enough character progression. Okay. There were a lot of good characters, but I didn't fall in love with any of them. Kind of like how I did with A Force Awakens.
Okay.
So I was a little bit disappointed, but I guess it does expand the whole universe, and it does establish, or it does explain why certain things happen, especially the whole why is there such a huge vulnerability in the Death Star.
Look at you using security terms, vulnerabilities.
Okay, right. And just so if you don't know, Alex is our security expert here. Computer security expert. He's gonna protect us from Russia.
I don't think so, man.
Yeah.
Maybe certain organization from being hacked by certain people. But yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to the NSA again.
If you're listening to us, hey, we love you guys, and keep
our one viewer.
Yeah, one viewer.
Or listener,
NSA.
I guess.
Right, because they see everything. Okay, yeah.
How about you? What's your number 10?
Well, my number 10 of the year is actually Zootopia, directed by Brian Howard and Rich Moore. I love animation film, and I think this whole revival era that Disney's doing with like Big Hero 6, with Wreck-It Ralph, with Princess and the Frog and stuff like that, that is amazing. They're on a really good course. I just like the story. I like the world that was built. I like the fact that it was animal talking, and this world building was just amazing to see.
Yeah.
Story was decently good for what it is. There were some dark themes in there that, racism and stuff like that, but it's made for kids. So I can foresee like myself, like if I have a kid, when I have a kid, when we see it, right, he or she's gonna like some part of it, and I'm gonna like it. But then when that person grow up, that kid grows up, then she's gonna like it more because she understands more about the darkness of the film in general. Yeah. So, yeah, to me, great film. Great animation. I'm happy that Disney is going this route, and I'm looking forward to more of their films. Okay. So.
I did see the movie. It didn't make my top 10 list, but you're right. It has multiple layers. Yeah. So that children can take away one message and adults can take away another message. Yep. And the whole thing is kind of an allegory for I guess life. The world we live in general. So I liked how certain animals kind of portrayed different. I don't know. Types of people. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's like races, but like certain types of people.
Yeah, like the big strong one is supposed to be the cops and stuff like that. Yeah, I totally understand. That's why like this rabbit would want to be a cop, Judy Hopps. Yeah, doesn't make sense, right? Yeah. So I completely agree with that. I don't know. It's just a good movie, man. I don't know. When I saw it, I'm like, shit, it's a 9 out of 10. I think I gave it a 9 or something like that, man. So, wow. All right, you're up for 9.
Number 9 for me is a movie that I saw a long time ago.
Okay.
But it is Marvel's Captain America: Civil War.
Okay.
I don't know. I think out of all of the different I guess all the different franchises within the Marvel universe, Captain America has been the most consistently
pretty solid,
good.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially number 2, Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was no, I guess, accident too. Like it was another solid movie in that whole series. I haven't seen what's that movie? The Batman versus Superman.
Okay, yeah.
But I know they do have similar themes. So this movie is about a civil war that kind of brewing between Captain America and Tony Stark. Iron Man, yeah. And they both have different views on how mutants should be treated.
Superheroes should be treated.
Or superheroes should be treated like by the government. Yeah. Should they try to integrate with them, or should they just kind of be their own thing? Yeah. So there's that whole civil war there. And it's kind of a similar theme with Batman vs. Superman, which I saw and I thought was terrible.
Right.
But they actually did it right.
Yeah.
It was fun seeing all of these superheroes like duking it out together, guys that were on the same team are actually like fighting against each other. Yeah. The visuals were amazing. The storyline was good. It was just a fun movie to watch.
Cool, man. I'm gonna say a little bit more about that in later on.
Okay.
So my 9th film of the year is Rogue One, a Star Wars movie.
All right.
I swear, we have a lot of the same film. Directed by Gareth Edwards, the guy that made Godzilla.
Right.
Again, solid film. There were some problems with it, I guess. I mean, I think I saw the trailer and like some of the stuff doesn't line up. You know, just
well, they
did a lot of reshoots.
Yeah.
Again, the worst part about this film is the characters' development. It wasn't as strong as I would like it. But the best part of the film is the visual and the fact that it's Star Wars, told in a different light, right? Like you see the war part of it, and the visual looks amazing. It looked beautiful, even darker, but it's different. It's so different. I like it so much. And you're right. It explains like the whole Death Star thing, and I thought that was an amazing stroke. And I love the fact that it's just self-contained within this universe. Like it's just within the story. When you're done with it, that's it. It's a one-off, right? And I like how they're going back to do that, right?
Yeah.
I think the next one is Han Solo in 2019.
Right.
And I'm excited to see that. It's supposed to be a Western. Yeah, some sort of Western. I don't know, man. Maybe like sci-fi or something. Overall, good film. And I'm looking forward to Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, cool
lots
film.
of questions about that, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I gave it 8 out of 10 for this one.
Okay.
Yeah, because we saw it together, right? And we came out and was like, something's off about this film.
Yeah.
So, but I still liked it though.
I mean, overall, I think we both enjoyed it. But
Yeah.
there was something a little lacking.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely agree.
Okay.
All right, 8.
Number 8 is Captain Fantastic.
Okay.
It's a story about a family, a man or a dad that has like, I don't know, 6 kids or something.
Something, yeah.
And they live out in the forest.
The wilderness?
In the wilderness.
Yeah.
They live a very alternative lifestyle. The dad and I guess the mom have some very different ideals about how to raise their children and how to live their life versus the rest of modern society.
Yeah.
And I guess you kind of see what happens when, well, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but is it a spoiler?
For what?
About the mom?
No, I don't think so. Because I was in the
but
trailer.
okay, but something happens with the mom, and they're kind of forced to go back and meet the rest of the family, and there's a lot of clashing that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this guy is like total hippie, and he's raising his kids as total hippies, and they're all like super smart, and they're all like self-sufficient and independent, which is I guess not something you'd find in like the typical American child or teenager.
Yeah.
Which is cool, I guess, because they're all like very cultured and intelligent. But it doesn't quite fit with, I guess, the typical American society, and so you could kind of see that culture clash. But they're all very loyal to their dad, but they're also kind of like there's also a conflict between, well, maybe not all of them, but some of them trying to relate with regular life.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot of that in that film.
Which part of the comedy comes from that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as I watched the movie, I was like, I could see this being sort of like Alex. So I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall a solid film. There are some feels in this one too.
Yeah, there were, man. There was some.
But you actually do fall in love with like the children
Yeah.
and like the dad. Like you feel very like they truly grow on you because they're just very authentic.
Yeah. I will be speaking more about that in a little bit, man.
So you're number 8.
My number 8, and this is where we diverge, right? This film is not on your list. Sing Street, directed by John Carney.
Okay.
And John Carney, for those who don't know, he's the guy that made Once and Begin Again. And I think last year, or 2 years ago, I was like highly in love with Begin Again, and it was just a good film, man. It's about John Carney film. It's pretty much like it's a film about growing up in a way, but not growing up, but like there's some stuff happened, but growing up, but with music, I guess. But there's a core music theme in there, and they do sing, not necessarily like a musical, but they do sing within the film. And the soundtrack is amazing. I was listening to it, and I thought the music was well done. In short, the story is about this kid who formed a band to impress a girl, and obviously stuff happened in between and stuff like that. But I thought it was well done, and I don't know, the characters are really cool, and I feel for this kid, you know. I can't say much more about that, okay. But I think when I was watching it, I was like, damn, I really like the way it was shot, and I just loved the music that was playing in the background, and it was just for a reason. But yeah,
okay,
we like it. Give that a 9 out of 10. So
wow, okay,
pretty high.
I haven't seen it.
Go see it. It's just pretty solid.
Okay,
pretty solid. Okay. Number 7 on your list.
Number 7 is Finding Dory.
Okay.
Pixar film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, I mean...
Did you cry?
No, I didn't. But, I mean, what can I say? It's what you expect from Pixar.
Yeah.
And Finding Nemo, I guess it's the sequel, which I also loved back in the day. Mm-hmm. So it's just a continuation of that. But Dory, I guess she gets lost this time.
Yeah, that's right.
And she's trying to find her family, and I mean, very, very typical, but also it's still like you feel a lot for the character of Dory's character, because she's just trying to find her family in this story.
Yeah.
And she meets a lot of friends on the way, and you do fall in love with all of the different characters that she meets, even the ones that at first seem like
Hank.
They don't have any redeeming qualities, but eventually you also learn to love them.
Yeah.
So I mean, there isn't really much to say.
I will be
about
talking a little bit more about that
for me. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Also has a lot of feels, so definitely recommend it.
Cool. My 7th movie of the year, and I think this is also on your list, is Hunt for the Wilder People, directed by Taika Waititi. Waititi. I think he's making something that is very important coming up. He's making Thor Ragnarok.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a different movie.
Yeah, he's making Thor Ragnarok for the upcoming one.
Okay.
Which. And he's the one that also made What We Do in the Shadows, supposed to be really funny, right? So he knows comedy.
I've seen that one, yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I heard it's supposed to be really funny.
That was good,
yeah. Okay, short story is that Ricky is a defiant young kid who finds himself on the run while his foster uncle in... Anyways, basically, in short, it's about a fat kid who sort of are on the run with his supposedly uncle in the woods, or in the bush, in the bush, New Zealand bush.
Right.
There was a lot of heart in this film, man. When I was watching it, there was some I'm like, yeah, this fat kid, how can I like this film at all, right? And I'm like, there's this like street level to it or something like that, and there's this whole idea of just living in the woods that I kind of like.
Yeah.
Everything just come together that was so fun to watch. And I didn't know that Sam Neill, with Jurassic Park fame, he was in it, and I didn't even recognize the guy. I don't know. I can't describe this movie much, man. It's just that there was heart. I like the story. I like the characters, and I thought it was really funny too. So,
okay. Sure. I will add to it a little later.
Yeah. Number 6 on your list, man.
Number 6 is a movie that I saw also like almost a year ago.
Okay.
Which is another Marvel film.
Okay.
Deadpool.
Fox then.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, it's a Marvel character, but it's done by Fox.
Yeah.
Directed by Tim Miller, starring Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the thing I liked about this movie was that it didn't reuse a lot of the same template or tropes that other superhero films have been. Because I mean,
he's like the anti-hero, right?
Yeah. At this point, we have like so many superhero movies, and they're all basically the same thing. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of getting tired of it.
Okay.
But this guy is like the anti-hero, as you were saying. Like he has a lot of qualities that are like pretty selfish.
Probably.
And very a traditional hero. Yeah. He's definitely not Captain America.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was very entertaining. It was well shot, a lot of good action scenes, and again, like you do like this character, even though he's like kind of a bad guy in a way. And yeah, that's all I can say.
Well, I mean, because this is not on my top 10, but I really like this film, by the way. I guess it wasn't my top 10 of the year, but it's maybe in like top 15 or something. But I like the fact that it is a rated R and like fuck you, you know, type of film. So like, and like the whole fourth wall breaking, really fun. I thought the first scene that he was in, like set the tone and was done so well. Yeah. Like the introduction of it was like shit. That's really cool. Yeah. And I'm excited for the second one that's coming out.
Yeah.
Deadpool 2.
Drive-by truckers.
Okay, that's Siri talking.
It's Alexa.
Oh, Alexa. Sorry.
Alexa, stop.
Alexa, stop.
Yeah.
That's what happens sometimes.
Right. Anyways, very funny film too.
Yes.
To mention.
Very, very, very
so
funny.
Definitely something very, very entertaining. I guess I have a lot of entertaining movies in my list this year.
Yeah, right. Same here, man. Number 6 on my list is Finding Dory, which you just talked about, directed by Andrew Stanton and August McLean. One of the things that I like about this film is that Finding Dory technically Finding Nemo technically takes place in Finding Dory. Right? Because it's about Dory and pretty much her whole life kind of thing, and that whole part of like Finding Nemo is in there, which I really like a lot. A solid film. I mean, there was a bunch of characters that was well done.
Yeah.
And Pixar is my favorite kind of like Disney animated studio. So this film is up there. I can't really say graphics good, story's good. There was a part where I felt, you know, like the feel.
Yeah.
I forgot what, but I think my wife cried in this film. So yeah.
Okay. Where are you looking back?
Hi. Anyways, go ahead, Mark.
Okay. Number 5 for me is the movie 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Okay. Oh, you changed that.
I did.
Okay, you went down.
Are you paying attention to my list?
I was.
Okay. It's directed by Dan Trachtenberg.
Yeah.
But it also stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead and John Goodman.
Okay.
And I don't know. I guess when I went to see this movie, I had somewhat low expectations.
Like 0 expectations.
But I was actually kind of blown away by it.
Yeah.
I am a fan of horror movies. And I did like Cloverfield, but I didn't
love it.
Well, I mean, I liked it, but I going into this movie, I heard that there wasn't really any connection.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess you'll find out why.
Yeah.
Eventually, but I thought it was well done in terms of just being like a suspenseful movie. So Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character, she's out driving. I forget, like I mean, it's been months since I've seen it, so I forget the exact details, but I guess she broke up with her boyfriend and she's just driving across the country.
Yeah.
And she gets into a car accident and then she wakes up and she finds herself in like some sort of nuclear bunker.
Okay.
That's built by John Goodman's character.
Yeah.
And she learns that supposedly there's some sort of nuclear holocaust, or I don't know, like some nuclear event happened outside and she's trapped there.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the whole premise itself is already pretty interesting. But John Goodman in this movie was really, really good and creepy.
He's a good actor, man. He's pretty underrated for some reason. Like I like him a lot.
Yeah. So there's a lot of suspense in this movie, and it's very ambient. Like the whole thing was set up so that like you feel like you're also trapped with her.
Yeah, and well, I guess to add, there's a sense of like of the main character, the girl. She doesn't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
Which I really like.
Yeah. And you feel that with her.
Yeah.
You're like...
Is John Goodman fucking with you or what?
Yeah. And I guess you'll find out what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely recommended.
And yes, it does tie into Cloverfield myth.
I think a lot of people had issue with that. I won't go into it. But I think on its own, this movie could have stood on its own feet without that connection.
I when I saw it, I really liked that film too. I mean, and there's some weird things that I didn't put in my top 10, but I like the film in general. And I think there's another one coming up, spiritual sequel, the next one that's coming out. That's like next year or this year, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. That was number 5 on your list, right? Okay, number 5 on my list is Captain Fantastic. Going back. Directed by Matt Ross, 2016. Viggo Mortensen? Aragon?
Aragon.
Yeah, Aragon. Lord of the Rings, yeah. He deserved his nomination for... I think he got an Oscar, right? Not Oscar, but nomination for Oscar.
Oh, okay.
For this film. I don't know, the kids are so cool, man. And I'm not saying that I wish that my life was like that, but just the idea of those kids being like real smart, and you know, you kind of feel bad for the kids because they don't assimilate with the society well, but you know that when they finish growing up and they are released in the world, they're gonna be great kids and like top of whatever they strive to do, right? I particularly like George McKay, who plays the eldest son. I thought his performance was really well too, especially when he was like, there's this like a scene where he's confessing to a girl that he loves her and like stuff like that, and like it was just well shot and well done, and I was just amazing from the amazing part. Great film. Very, very fun in a way, right? Well shot. Love the bus. Really love the bus.
Yeah.
I can't really say more. I give that a 9 out of 10 too. So.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Are you gonna celebrate Noam Chomsky Day?
You know, I'm gonna sidestep that. I met Noam Chomsky.
Yes.
Cool guy.
I remember that.
Yeah. I met him once. No, I'm not gonna celebrate Noam Chomsky's Day. But no.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I don't think I'm that far out. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, number 4 on your list. Oh, we're almost
Number
done.
4 is a movie that you already spoke about, which is higher in my list, Hunt for the Wilder People.
Nice.
But yeah, I fell in love with the characters in this movie. At first, you're like, look at this stupid brat, this thug wannabe, tough guy. But his foster mother, you actually... you see how she kind of melts him, and then eventually the boy and the uncle, I guess, are kind of forced to go on this adventure, and they both they're both I guess characters that are like throwaways in their own sense. They kind of don't want to be with each other, but they kind of are forced to, and then they eventually develop this really strong bond. It's hilarious at times, it's sad at other times, and it was just a fun adventure watching it.
I agree with everything you said. That's number 4?
Yeah.
So number 4 on my list is Captain America Civil War, which you talk about, directed by Anthony Russo and Joe Russo brothers, and they are making Avenger, the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're tying everything together. I completely different from the comics. Telling you that right now. I love the cameo, like the whole idea of like everyone together and the cameo. Great, very cool. I love that. I feel like this is more of an adventure movie than a Civil War movie. But at the same time, truly you see it as a Civil War film because it's all about Captain America.
Yeah.
And his struggle to like relate to the world that he's living in. I mean, it's a little bit different from the rest of the Marvel film in the sense that big cast, but it was done well. One of the problems I had with like Avengers: Age of Ultron was like, this is all this character, but it wasn't seamlessly integrated, right kind of thing correctly.
It was a mess.
It was kind of like a mess, but
it was.
I mean, I still liked it.
I didn't.
Well, you know.
Anyways,
going forward, and this thing sets up for like the next stage 3 or whatever it is. Phase 3 of the film. Visual was cool. I mean, the Spider-Man coming, cool. You know, like
the fight scene.
Huh?
Fight scene.
Yeah, that one fight scene.
Captain America
enough to
and Winter Soldier versus Iron Man.
Yeah, that fight scene, and the one before that, the big one, which is everyone fighting each other.
Yeah,
it's enough for the ticket. I mean, go see it if you haven't seen it. You know, even if you don't know what's going on, still go see it. It's still a pretty cool film. I guess I like it because I just enjoy when I was watching. It was like sheer enjoyment. Just shit. You know, this is what Batman and Superman is supposed to be like.
Yeah.
You know, but they didn't do that. Yeah, overall, cool film. And oh, by the way, it wasn't like it wasn't about like government versus, you know, like that whole premise of like the government want to sanction like superior. It's not about that. The major conflict is so personal between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
That what makes it interesting. That's why you follow it, you know, because the ending fight was super personal.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I love about it. And really, there's no side that you can argue, really. And I mean, both sides was valid.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I feel bad for Captain America. I feel bad for Iron Man. You know, but it's a cool film. Here we go, man. Top 3 on the list. Almost done here.
My top 3. I don't know. I don't think you have this movie on your list.
I think I do.
Do you?
Okay, maybe not. Go ahead.
It's Swiss Army Man.
No, that's because I haven't seen it.
Okay. Directed by Dan Kwan and Daniel Scheinert.
Okay.
Starring Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Of Harry Potter fame, if you didn't know that.
I'm sure I did. But the other guy, did you know that he starred in...
He starred
Ruby
in a lot
Sparks.
of movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was it's probably the weirdest movie I've seen. Well, actually, that and possibly The Lobster in the past year.
I'm talking about Lobster, man.
It's not, I guess, in my top 10 list. But yeah, I thought it was very unique and very original. It's about a guy that's alone on some deserted island, and he's about to commit suicide. He's about to hang himself. But then he sees this body wash up on the beach, which is played by Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
And initially it's just farting all over the place. I guess that's kind of like one of the gimmicks that got you into this movie.
It's like a fart film.
So like this basically it's a corpse, and it's just passing gas the entire movie. Yeah. But eventually it stops. It initially prevents him from going through with whatever he was going to do in the beginning, like hang himself. And I guess the corpse starts speaking to him, and I don't know if it's kind of like maybe it's fantasy in his mind, but it kind of forces the main character to kind of like reconsider things about his life and try to pursue what he wanted to pursue. And you kind of see like this friendship develop between the two, even though it's just a corpse that's just farting the entire time.
Right.
But maybe that's all he needed to kind of get through in life. So I don't know. I thought it was super original and super relatable, and it was a really good movie.
How is it relatable? The corpse or him?
Well, I guess
in general.
Well, hit the main guy, but I guess the corpse also like he was sort of living through the corpse,
like the most,
and they're kind of living through each other. It's kind of like a buddy comedy at some points. So yeah, it was very fun to watch. And like I said, very like this isn't a typical movie. It's just so out there, but it works.
Okay, I haven't seen it, and I probably will eventually. I thought the premise was very original. I think they've Chris Chuckman, whatever his name is.
Who?
Whatever. He saw it. He likes it, and I'm sure I'm gonna like this film too.
Oh, Stuckman. Okay,
yeah.
Right.
That's number 3 on your list.
Yes.
Okay, number 3 on my list, which I just changed by the way, is La La Land.
Wow.
Went up a little bit.
Okay.
Directed by Damien Chazelle. Interesting fact: Damien Chazelle, he is 85, so he's about 32. Young. I mean, like really young for filmmaker, I think. And he just made Whiplash, and Whiplash won, and he made La La Land, and La La Land is going to win.
Well, it won a lot of
already, right?
The Golden Globes.
Yeah. He is like a prime director. He's really good at his job. Like
he's on fire.
He's on fire, man. And the unique things about La La Land. There's a couple of things I want to say about La La Land. Number one, love the idea it was set in LA, right? And it pays homage to like all this dancing film or like musicals that's done. And I saw a video earlier, probably like a week ago, where like this guy, he compared all the stuff that was like from just compared La La Land versus like all the old films.
Mm-hmm.
and like there's a bunch of film that was that he paid homage to.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that a lot. Again, I mentioned it was LA, and like all the stuff there we can just go to right now if we wanted to, right? And I have been to some of them already.
Yeah.
Very cool. The story itself is I thought it was a good story.
Mm-hmm.
But what propelled the movie to be in my top 3 versus top, because originally I rated top 5,
mm-hmm.
or is the last scene or the last segment of the movie. Right. And I thought that was well done. I was like, wow, that was really cool.
Okay.
Some people do not like it. But I thought, I mean, going into it, I gave it like an 8.
Yeah.
And then because of that one small scene of like how realistic it was, 8.5 out of 10. I'm not a big like musical movie kind of guy, so that's why I give it so low. But this movie itself, it's about chasing your dreams and what you have to give up and what chase your dream kind of thing.
Yeah.
And super relatable to people. It was really well shot. I don't know. The whole LA scene, man, is really cool. And just the way Ryan Gosling, when he act, he has this subtleness to it. This like pause, and his facial thing. It's well done. I'm excited for his next film, which is Blade Runner 2046. 2046.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, overall, love the film. I am a fan of Damien Chazelle now. Ever since we saw Whiplash together, which you saw, you didn't understand anything about it. I'm like, Mark, gotta go see this damn film.
Really?
I dragged you to go see it.
Yeah. But then it ended up being my number 1 film for
the year, right?
Yeah.
So, very cool, very intense. Love it.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it, man.
You may hear more about that movie.
All right.
So my number 2 is Arrival by Denis Villeneuve.
Okay.
Starring Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
But
Hawkeye.
as you know, I love sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's my favorite genre.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first heard about this movie, I was super excited to see it.
Yeah.
And it did meet my expectations, possibly just a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that was good. But yeah, it's a very interesting premise where one day all of these big floating, I don't know, thingies like are they just show up across the globe.
Yeah.
And the world doesn't really know how to react to it.
Yeah.
So the United States government, in trying to deal with this, calls upon Amy Adams' character, who's a linguist, to try to communicate with these aliens. So it's very interesting just to kind of see this hypothetical situation where it's like there's these beings that arrive on Earth, and how do you think the world will react? So I guess there is sort of like a unified effort to try to contact them, but not really. Like other countries eventually kind of want to take a different route to dealing with the aliens. So I mean that's also part of the conflict, and it's interesting to see that also. But like just the cinematography was beautiful. It was just kind of breathtaking to see some of the scenes where you have this wide pan shot of the countryside, and you have this giant floating being or whatever. Just sitting there, and you see like all of these military vehicles and camps kind of set up around it, and just the way like they go about trying to communicate with these aliens, which are called hectapods or something.
Hexapods, yeah, they have like 6 arms or something.
Yeah, and the design of the aliens themselves, it's not
typical.
What you're it's not what you're used to. It's not like some skinny humanoid looking figure with giant eyes. It's this like octopus looking thing.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very, very fascinating too. So yeah, one of the great sci-fi movies. I know like the past few years, I've always had like a sci-fi movie in my top 5 or so.
Okay, wow.
So yeah, I mean this kind of continues along that tradition, and I hope Hollywood continues
to make better sci-fi
these epic sci-fi movies.
There is a pattern, man. You always have a Marvel movie in there. You always have a sci-fi in there.
Yeah.
And then you have a Damien Chazelle movie in there from now on, right?
Yeah, if he will continue to make.
Right. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Or not.
Falls.
Okay, anyways. My second favorite movie of the year, and it's something that you did not see, which I asked you to go watch, man, little punk, is Everybody Wants Some, directed by Rich Linklater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
As you know, if you have heard the Before Sunrise talk, that I am a big fan of Richard Linklater. He made my favorite movie of all time, which is Before Sunset. And he, Boyhood was amazing, Before Sunrise was amazing, and I think Everybody Wants Him is amazing. I know a lot of people do not agree with me on this, but again, when we review films like this, or do our top 10, it's truly because of movie that you like, not necessarily because of top best rated, right?
Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah, it should be. And again, this movie is about talking and stuff happening, and it happens within like 2 days or something like that. So it's about a guy who, I guess it's a comedy that follows a group of friends as they navigate their way through the freedoms and responsibility of unsupervised adulthood, which is technically college, right? It's about a guy who is going to college. He got into scholarship, something like that, but he's in the baseball team and he is interacting with the baseball team and hanging out. Great film. Love the dialogue. It's just the way it was shot was cool. The fact that it was done within 2 days was cool. And just the way they talk. I mean, just the stuff they talk about, man. In short, Rich Linklater, I think, made a hit, and I like the film, and I think you should see it. I mean, there's this whole like masculinity thing in there that kind of might throw people off, but at the same time, I'm not saying guys should be guys or something like that, but it was just, when I looked at those guys, it's like, damn, I'm not saying I want to hang out with them, but it's very cool to see them on screen.
Okay.
Very fun film, actually. And between the film, there's life lessons, and there are some romance in this film too. So overall, love the film.
Okay.
And I wish you'd seen it, Mark. I really highly recommend it, man. And again, I give this a 9 out of 10, man. So
wow.
So yeah, Richard Linklater.
I don't know. I haven't really heard too many people talking about it. It's kind of flown under the radar.
It's probably on the radar, and people, I don't know. It's supposed to be a spiritual
journey.
No, spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused.
Okay.
Which sort of makes sense, right? What was that? Anyways.
Okay. I will check that out along with a lot of the other movies that I've been meaning to check out this year.
Yeah.
Someone's messages is going off. Anyways, I think that's.
Oh well, that. Pause. What is it?
Oh no, never mind. Anyways,
okay, and also in this film, should let you know that a lot of people see this film as a sexist film because it concentrates much but the guys.
Right.
But this is, I'm not saying my guys, but I can see guys like this talk the way they talk. It's like, oh shit, what's up, man?
Yeah.
I see it, and I do talk like this with the guys too. Not like too detailed about not like that like crazy stuff, but and it's about a bunch of guys drinking beer and talking. What more do you want? So
okay.
All right, go, man. You ready?
So number one.
All right.
On
one film of the year.
Mark's list.
Mark, best film of 2016.
La La Land.
Wow. All right.
Damien Chazelle wins again on my list.
I think last year, 2 years ago.
2 years ago was Whiplash.
Whiplash now is La La Land.
This year it's La La Land. And
16 Academy Awards.
Basically, I'm gonna echo a lot of what you said prior. It's a beautiful movie. I'm not a guy that watches musicals.
No, you're not. I don't think any of us.
So when I first saw the previews to this movie, I'm like, I don't think that's my sort of movie.
Yeah.
But I eventually went to see it, and I was blown away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like completely a musical. There are scenes where there's not that much music, so it's not like the entire movie is done in like sing and dance.
Yeah.
There are some scenes where it's like just normal dialogue and whatever.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was kind of like a visual feast when you include all of the musical numbers.
Yeah.
Like just the opening scene was pretty amazing, and being an LA citizen, Los Angeles.
Hey, yep.
Like I'm like, how did they do that? How did they actually
shut down the 105?
Yeah.
The 105 to do this.
So that was pretty amazing, and then just seeing like you said earlier, all of the other scenes in LA where as you're watching, you're like, oh, I know that place.
Yeah, Griffin Park.
Or it's like,
been there.
Oh, cool.
Oh, Roger Park, yeah, been
cool.
there.
That's a good date idea.
Yeah.
So I also enjoyed that part, and story-wise, kind of like, okay, so we were talking about before sunrise, right before this, but kind of along the same lines where you're watching two people go through the whole like relationship dance, right? Yeah. They meet, maybe they hate each other at first, but they actually do fall in love, and kind of going through the struggles and the joys of going through that, like a relationship, like actually falling in love, and then maybe there are some issues. And a lot of it felt very realistic. Again, like a lot of things that anybody could relate to.
Yeah. And that's our friends coming in. Okay, we're almost done. Hey.
Hello.
Hey, go ahead.
So, yeah, nothing. That's all I had to add.
Is it because of the friends coming in?
No. But yeah, I loved it, and it's
You wanted to win for Oscar, which we will do eventually.
Probably.
Right.
But like you were saying, with the ending,
yeah.
It
I
gets
love the
you.
ending, man. It gets you, right?
Yeah,
There's that feel
really,
of the
really
ending.
gets you. Very realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's my number one.
Okay, so in a bit we'll probably do a back and forth of our top 10. But my number one movie of the year is Arrival, directed by Denis Villeneuve. Yeah. I think you said pretty much everything I wanted to say. The one thing I want to add is like my major was a linguistic and psych major, and this film was all about that kind of thing, and that was kind of cool. Seeing how the alien communicate with Amy Adams characters using language, I guess, and just how the story plays out, and that twist, I mean, not saying mind blowing, but that was a really cool twist.
Right.
I don't know. The visual was really cool. It's beautifully shot. Again, those whole the alien backspace, the bit in the background with like vista. It's like really cool film to see. I can't really say much. I'm kind of sad that it wasn't nominated for certain stuff, but overall, it's a great film, and I highly recommend it. And please go see it. It's that good. And I think I gave this a 9.5 out of 10.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's because our friends are here, that's why I can say much more stuff. But overall,
why are you self-conscious now?
I am, man. I am. Okay, so anyways,
don't you know we have like thousands of visitors?
Right, thousands of visitors. Yeah. You mean that one NSA character, the guy that I was listening to us?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, let's go back and do our top 10. And real quick, what is your order? And then we can end this right now.
Okay.
I'll go 1/4. Okay.
You start this.
All right. Number 10, Zootopia.
Rogue One.
Number 9, Rogue One.
Okay.
For you?
Civil War. Oh, Captain America: Civil War.
Okay. Number 8, Sing Street.
Captain Fantastic.
Number 7, Hunt for the Wilder People.
Finding Dory.
Number 6, Finding Dory.
Deadpool.
Number 5, Captain Fantastic.
10, Cloverfield Lane.
Number 4, Captain America: Civil War.
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Number 3, La La Land.
Swiss Army Man.
Number 2, Everybody Wants Some.
Arrival.
Number 1, Arrival.
La La Land.
And that, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, are my top and Mark's top 10 film of the year. Stay tuned for more from Duck Cinema. We'll be doing a lot of one-offs and having new...
Are you actually going to post this?
Yes, I'm going to post this time. Have a good year, and hopefully at least one person is going to watch this or listen to this, which is our NSA guy.
Not including the people in this room.
Yep. Have a good one. Oh, sorry. This is Alex with Duck Cinema.
And Mark.
And I guess this is a one-off, so you can't really find us anywhere. Bye.
No, Twitter.
Oh, yeah, you can find us on Twitter still. At Duck Cinema. What did I say? At Duck Cinema, yeah. So we're watching a little bit more movies this year, I guess.
Do you still have duckcinema.com?
Oh, no, we don't.
No?
No, it's gone. Yeah, sorry, man. Bye.